What's going on, Raider Nation? It is JT coming at you with another episode of the Raider Cast pre-game show with my friend NJ Raider Nation. What's up, NJ?
What's up? How you been? Enjoying the first dub of the season?
Of course, I actually was happy on my way to school on Monday, celebrating that victory Monday and not driving all sad and angry. But yeah, that was a great win Sunday.
It was, it was expected. I feel like for the majority of analysts and everything, we were expected to win. We had the upper hand. But you could say the same thing for the first two games. I know Raiders versus Chargers was a little more up in the air. Or first three games, Titans too, Cardinals. I think we had the upper hand in all three of those and we're let down. So, I think a lot of people didn't know what to expect with this one. But, I was confident and I think the Raiders did what they had to get the dub. I think it could have been a little better. I don't know what you think with that. I think there were some things that could have been better, but it did seem like the Raiders kind of got into that rhythm, found their groove, found what their team's efficient at. And, that was definitely giving Josh Jacobs the rock.
Yeah, I mean, so I would say the big issue still is red zone on both sides. We're not good on the defensive side. We're not good on the offensive side. So that's like the big issue that we're still facing even from last season. Like that was a thing that we had last season. That was an issue. But the thing that we improved on that everyone wanted to improve on is feeding Jacobs the ball, giving him the ball, and it worked out well. 144 yards on 28 attempts for 2 touchdowns. He was our entire offense last game. He was an absolute beast, and we pretty much have the recipe of how we should play the game now on offense. Have a much more balanced rush pass attack, focus, getting Jacobs the ball early. Our O-line has looked really good with the run, which
Last
is a lot of people were. People were, down on our O-line for obvious reasons, but they have been very solid in run game, run blocking and stuff like that. Not so great in pass pro still, but when you're running the rock that much, only on third down you really have to worry about it, and then it's usually third and short, so you just have quick throws, stuff like that minimizes the deficiency that is our O-line, especially in pass pro. But our run blocking has been spectacular so far.
And the boy getting some runs in. Can't not talk about Derek Carr's seven carries. But yeah, I mean, going back to Jacobs, it seemed like he was feeling himself. We were giving him, what did he get? 28 carries, I believe. And that's a career day for him. So I know he's probably, hype going into this game. I think that gave us the needed energy boost going into a big game, Raiders Chiefs, on prime time. So I think that was a vital win, not only for the record down the road. I think going into this week, if we lost that game, I think who would they might have even switched us to the 1:00 slot and then had another team go into the prime time, because nobody would have batted an eye for this Monday night game. But now the chatter's going.
Yeah, there's definitely some juice to this game. It's a very in the grand scheme of things, it might not be super crucial right now, just for us to win. I mean, it's not expected for us to win. So if we went into this year not expecting to really win this game, you might have to say we have the possibility of winning, but it was always a possibility. It was never set in stone. We should win this game, as much as I would want to say that. But the first 4 weeks were very winnable games for us. The Chargers maybe not so much, again, it's division game, stuff like that, but the last 3 games are winnable. We only won 1 out of the last 3, so we need to get those wins stacked up, and it might take till after the bye week. But if we can face the Chiefs very closely, play them close, eke out a win, or barely lose, like the Colts did, barely eke out that win, I think it's possible. But I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm mostly thinking that we lose this game, but what I'm looking for is building upon what we did this past game, establishing the run, getting Devontae Adams the ball, and getting improvement in the red zone.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think not being expected to win is a relief for a lot of Raider fans, especially the team, because that pressure builds up, And with the first 4 games, the way the expectations were set, I think it's a nice feeling for the team and the fans to be look, we're not expected to win this game, but if we do, we'll make some waves. And even if we don't, I think, like you said, if the team shows like that they're building from last week, I think that's going to be a good sign. And a lot of fans that, you know, understand football and it's not just about wins and losses. I think a lot of fans will be happy that the team is building from last week, regardless if we win or lose. But, you know, at the end of the day, a big W on primetime Monday Night Football is going to be a huge deal if we can, you know, if we can get that out.
Yeah, especially going to the bye week, getting rested up, getting our players back. And speaking of getting players back, I do expect from the players that, you know, the important players, like the big players that we missed last week, Rock Ya-Sin, Hunter Renfrow, and Denzel Perryman. Actually, Denzel Perryman wasn't missed, but he went out of the game. I definitely expect Ya-Sin to be back this week. He could have played last week. He was a healthy scratch just to preserve his knee injury. They probably thought, like, you know, we can do enough without him, that we don't need him this game. But this is a big game. You know, he's a really good corner. We could definitely use him. So I think he should be back. And if he's not, our secondary looked okay. We gave up big plays at bad moments overall. But, you know, Hobbs has been playing really well. Morig, when his first game back, didn't play like, you know, he didn't do anything super crazy, but he played, you know, how you want him to play. You didn't hear his name very often. Harmon has been pretty well. Amik had a solid game. He gave up some plays, but he has played with fire, especially after being called little man by Jerry Jeudy. He popped off. Our secondary is looking rough-ish, like it's like on and off. So we definitely could use Ya-Sin back. And then Hunter Renfrow, I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know when he's coming back. It could be a very bad concussion. Same thing with Perriman. Perriman could play Monday, even with the new concussion protocols and the hyperfixation on making sure concussions are taken care of with the Tua Tagovailoa, scenario situation. But he could be back for Monday, depending on the severity, just like how Nate Hobbs was back for the game this past week.
Yeah, I think most importantly, Rock Ya-Sin is at the top, because we do need that depth. Skill set, he's probably our best cornerback, and he's a veteran and all that. But that aside, we just need depth. So just having him back is going to be a huge game changer. And normally going into a bye week, you know, if someone's hurt and it's like, okay, 50-50 or leaning even like 70-30 that he's okay, I think a lot of times teams will want that extra week to make sure he's fully good. But because this game's such a big game, I think it really just will change the trajectory of the season, just huge motivation boost, all that good stuff. I think they're going to want to make sure he's back on the field and helping that secondary out.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. And then the other player that's really important to make sure we have back is Denzel Perryman. However, we did pick up the Perryman insurance recently. We signed Blake Martinez to the practice squad, which I expect him to be activated to the roster for the game, whether Perryman plays or not. He's played in Patrick Graham's defense, so you know he'll have to catch up to speed on some of the new language, like the slight changes that he has from the change from New York to Las Vegas, but he's literally a plug and play player, like the best you can probably get in terms of plug and play. He's played in this defense for years. He was with Patrick Graham in Green Bay. He was with Patrick Graham in New York. He was a captain. He's had a solid years under Patrick Graham, especially his 2020 season. ACL tear last year, so he didn't play other than like 4 games. But that doesn't mean he can't play at a high level again. And like I said, when we signed him, he's basically just white Denzel Perryman. He has the same exact skill set. Not a great coverage linebacker, but he's a thumper in the run game. He'll definitely improve our run game if Perryman's out. And if Perryman's in, then we just have 2 great, run stopping linebackers, which we could definitely use with, our on and off play from our defensive tackles. Yeah, and at the end, depth, right? Yeah.
So, depth. What do you think the chance of him playing this Monday is?
Which one, Perryman or Martinez?
Martinez,
I think 100%. I think he 100% plays.
Okay.
Regardless of Perryman's status.
Yeah, because I think that's sounds like I'm not familiar with him previously, but from what you say and from a couple of the things I've read, sounds like he is a good fit and sounds like he's going to be an important piece to this defense, especially if Perryman is kind of like a little banged up. I think that's a very good pickup. I'm just hoping I'm hoping he can adjust to a new scheme, new team, new everything, as quick as possible. But I guess we'll see, right?
Yeah. So speaking of talking about the run game, the Chiefs run game is hit or miss. Isaiah Pacheco had a huge game against the Bucs. He had, I think, 7 carries for 63 yards is not a lot, but that's 5.7 a carry. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been he's been pretty good so far this season. But again, their loss this season to the Colts, they didn't have a lot of rush yards. It was mostly Mahomes getting a lot of the rush yards, like the important rush yards. He was the team as a whole averaged 2.5 a carry, and that was with Jerick McKinnon as their leading running back, 7 carries for 20 yards and 2.9 a carry. Pacheco had 3 a carry. Stopping the run will definitely be very important. Eliminating the Mahomes effect, he had that crazy play against the Buccaneers last week. If we can get to him, or if we can make sure he's field pressured, that was one of the big things that we did against him in 2020. We had the it was Maurice Hurst, I think, played the spy. No, it was Arden Key. I forgot about that. Arden Key played the spy. He made sure that Mahomes was contained. He didn't get outside the pocket. We need to do stuff like that to make sure that we contain, the Mahomes magic.
And, we've been seeing it a little more, right? The certain different blitz packages with Hobbs and
Abram.
I think that's going to be key for the whole. I think they just got to throw different looks, right? You can't make it easy for Mahomes. If you make it easy, he's going to just tear up the defense, and that's game. So switching it up, I think we've been seeing Patrick Graham feeling a little more comfortable with his ability to do different formations and different looks and that kind of stuff. And I think that's going to be immensely important this Monday versus a really good Chiefs team and a very good quarterback like Mahomes. You just can't make it easy for him.
Yeah. And I think one of the underrated X factors, going into it, X factors, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce, all Max Crosby, Nate Hobbs, all those players that the names of are really thinking about. Someone that's kind of going under the radar this past season has been Clelin Ferrell, in my opinion. He's really helped in the pass rush in terms at defensive tackle. He's played a lot of, I think it's 3 tech. I don't know my terms and stuff like that, so I think it's 3 tech. But he allowed Crosby to get a free rush. He took the guard with him and bumped into the right tackle, and Crosby just had a free rush to Russell Wilson last week. He was a major part of Crosby getting the sack on Tannehill last week. He's been playing really, really well at that diverse defensive tackle, defensive end spot. I think he could definitely be an X factor in this game. He's played pretty well in coverage, so I think he'll be a very versatile chess piece along that D line, along that front 7, that should help us, contain Mahomes as best we can and contain the rush as well.
Yeah, because our defensive ends, right, Crosby and Chandler Jones, although Chandler Jones hasn't really got to the quarterback yet, he's there, right? His presence is felt. It's not like he's
in
invisible.
The run game, especially.
Yeah. So he's good in that position. I'm not opposed to putting Clelin Ferrell. I'm a big Clelin Ferrell fan. I'm not opposed to moving him inside, and I think that just shows Patrick Graham's creativity. So I think that is kudos to him for doing stuff like that. And I think moving forward that's a great idea to start moving it inside. And him and Crosby came into the league together. They have great chemistry. Yep. I mean, that play spoke for itself. It was, and not to mention, Clee after that play got up super hype because he knew, without that play call, without him doing that, that sack wouldn't have happened. So that little duo, I when they first came into the league together, Saul and Pepper on each side, but if they're both on the same side next to each other, I kind of like that moving forward. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think it'll be very important also going forward. You look at the best pass rushers in the league, and very last year, Max Crosby didn't have a ton of sacks, but he had a ton of pressures, and it was because of the scheme idea of Gus Bradley was the pass rush will happen. You just gotta you gotta earn the sacks. You gotta work towards the sacks. I'm not gonna scheme you guys open. He played a very basic defense. He played cover 3, 4 rushers. That's it. But this year, Patrick Graham is going to start scheming Max Crosby open lanes to get to the quarterback, always pressure the quarterback, sack the quarterback, just interrupt the play. And even without those, Max Crosby has been doing that. But in general, like I just said, he schemed Max Crosby a lane. He allowed Max Crosby to get to the quarterback easier by getting Klee to take the guard and the tackle with him, which is what we needed from our defensive tackles in the pass game to do. Our defensive tackles very good in the run game. Billings has had a very quiet year. He's been very stout in the run game. Jonathan Hankins has always been a very solid run stuffer. But we haven't had that pass rush from Bilal Nichols or any of our other defensive tackles really yet. But put Cleve Ferlin, he's a very smart guy. He knows how to, get those lanes open for Crosby or even a blitzer to get in there. So I think definitely using him a lot more and getting Max Crosby, those free lanes should help a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. And again, I can't stress enough how last week it was a lot of things we like to see. And I guess, the first 3 games too, there are a lot of different individual quarters or individual halves where the Raiders look very good. So we just have to grow from that, specifically last week, grow from that going into this, big game. And I think that's going to be key. And if the Raiders manage to do that, I think we'll have a really good game and hopefully, take home the dub.
Yeah. The only the thing is though is the Chiefs are playing really well right now. Like on offense, especially, like they're cooking teams. I mean, against the Colts, like I said, that was an anomaly. That should not have happened. Them scoring 17 points against the Colts, and the Colts have looked like trash. It is beyond my comprehension how they beat the Chiefs. I would love to see a film breakdown, or if I can find one, I'm going to watch it because I want to know how the hell the Colts beat the Chiefs. I have no idea. It's beyond me how they, it wasn't even like a shootout. Like that's usually how you beat the Chiefs. No, they just straight up just held them to 17 and just got a miracle win. But
I think it was just one of those games, Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, Mahomes, Mahomes is a human. And I mean, he certainly at this point, I think, the Chiefs have a very good team, and I'm not taking credit from the team as a whole, but Mahomes is he's one of those guys that you put him on any team and he's going to turn that team around. Like he is going to be the playmaker. I think the whole Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes conversation, you can't compare the two yet, but I do think Mahomes is something special. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have you're gonna have those games every once in a while though.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping
it was just 1 week early this year.
It was. I hope that we have that game against them. But just in general, their offense, their pass attack has been really good. Their run attack has been pretty good again besides the Colts game. But in the Colts game, their pass attack was, just as good. Against the Chiefs, against the Bucks, they destroyed the Buccaneers. They just torched the defense of the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers have a good defense, so that's credit to even the Chiefs for doing that. Andy Reid's really showing, and Patrick Mahomes is really showing that Tyreek Hill isn't necessarily the catalyst, that losing him isn't necessarily the biggest loss for them, because they can still make things happen. They can still win games. Having Travis Kelce still there, he's going to be an X factor. He's going to be an issue for our team. I'm not really sure how we're going to play against him. We have never, ever, ever played against him really well. Even in that one win in 2020, he still had a monster game. It's just one of those things where we might have to play Hobbs on him. We have to double him because he's just insanely good. Maybe Jayon Brown and Diablo will be able to take care of him. I have no idea. They haven't looked really that good at all on coverage, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs' offense is definitely a struggle. I mean, a problem to handle. And
I'm just going off of what you're saying with Kelce. He will be a problem. There's no doubt. He's always been when he plays us. I think the way our secondary is built right now, we don't have really tall guys out there or really bulky guys. I know Abrams, lays the hammer every once in a while, and Nate Hobbs too, but they're not extremely, physical in terms of moving other players. So it's going to be a tough matchup. It's not the best matchup. I'm hoping if Perriman's back, Perriman, some of the linebackers, maybe they can be more involved with Kelce just to give him that physicality and match that. But at the end of the day, he's a tall, big ass dude. And He's another one of those, like you said, that he's just an X factor, and we just have to limit him. I feel like that would be big. But at the end of the day, he's gonna be able to play some good football on Monday, and if we just limit him, I think that would help.
Yeah, he's definitely the player that we need to limit, because I think we'll do fine against our run attack. Broncos had a pretty good run game. I mean, Javonte went down. Unfortunately, his ACL tear, so that sucks to see. But they had a good run attack. The Titans had a good run attack, which they dominated in the first half. Like Derrick Henry's really good. They dominated the first half, but we held them to nothing in the second half. Chargers didn't have a good run game, so we played that pretty well. But not saying Eckler's a bad running back either. He just didn't have a great first couple weeks. Against the Cardinals, they don't have a great run game, but we allowed Kyler Murray to escape. So I think the important part is make sure we contain Mahomes. Make sure he doesn't, keep the ball. And one way to stop him from getting the ball too much is running the ball. I think running the ball will be absolutely our key to win this game. Keeping the ball away from Mahomes and out of his hands, running the clock out, making sure he doesn't have enough time to try and get the offense going. Because I think stopping their run and having our run game stay strong will be a key to win.
Yeah, and I think the main key, similar to last week, and I think moving forward, it's going to be every week, just lack of errors, right? Everything's going to be as perfect as the Raiders can, because that game in 2020 when we did beat the Chiefs, that was a shootout, and that basically came down to a couple drives stopped on the Chiefs offensive side of things, and we were able to take that and then score on the next drive and really take advantage. So that has to be reciprocated, with this game. Same recipe. It's going to be. We're not going to win like 10-7. It's just not going to happen. There's no way. It's going to be a shootout, and we need a couple big stops, and the offense has to play pretty much perfect football and finish drives, and that's going to be how we win this game. So
yeah, and the Chiefs offense is going to play well. I mean, pretty much no matter what, unless we cook up what the Colts cooked up and just somehow hold them to 17. But I think something crucial that we haven't done so well this season is making sure we get points after the defense gets stops. I don't think we've done that well at all. We got the interception by Duron Harmon versus the Titans. It ended in 0 points, even though we started on their 31. Stuff like that'll lose you games, which ended up doing. We need to score less field goals in the red zone and more touchdowns. We need to fix the red zone, because we can get down the field pretty well usually. Usually we're able to get down the field, but it's when we get into inside the 20, we just fall apart. So making sure we can score in the red zone, or if we have to, score before the red zone, that way we don't get stuck in the red zone.
Just some big explosive plays.
Yeah, we definitely need some really, really big plays, because
we have the guys.
Yeah, Devontae Adams against L'Jarius Sneed. That's not going to be pretty for L'Jarius Sneed, I can already tell you. Patrick Surtain, the wrong the third Patrick in my head. Patrick Surtain, he still got 4 catches and 46 yards against Pat Surtain. He had 9 catches for 101 yards. The first game, he absolutely destroyed Asante Samuel in the Chargers secondary for, I think it was 13 catches for 140 something yards and a touchdown. He's had 3 touchdowns so far. He's an important part of the red zone offense. I think we need to use him more. I think Jacobs is really crucial in the red zone. Again, Jacobs should be a focus for a lot of our offense in the red zone. Give him the ball on first and second down. On third down, obviously, it's going to be a passing down unless it's really short. Stuff like that is really crucial. Getting the ball to Devontae Adams against L'Jarius Sneed, unless they start doubling Adams, I think Adams can pretty handily beat L'Jarius Sneed on most downs, on most plays.
And then double him, and then look at Mac Hollins, who's been looking really good. And speaking of Mac Hollins, he's another guy that has a lot of upside and a lot of potential. With Hunter Renfrow out the last 2 games, he's looked really good. You know, he's looked. You can count on him. He has pretty good hands, and he's a really tall guy. So when you get down to the red zone, you know, the end zone, Carr can throw it up, which he likes doing. You know, he seems like he really likes that. You know, throw up and go get it. But Matt Collins is the perfect guy for that. So he's been looking good, and they just got to feed Jacobs. That's you know, I've seen a couple people getting mad over social media saying like, oh, you know, we have all these weapons, the Raiders shouldn't be a run first team. At the end of the day, I'd be fine with that. I'd be completely fine with that because in my opinion, and I don't know how you feel, Josh Jacobs is not an average running back. No, I think he's really above average, if like, you know, at the least. And being a run first team is going to open up the wide receivers and open up Darren Waller. And it's even going to open up Carr's ability to run for a first down here and there. So I have no problem being a run first team. And, you know, like I said, that'll just open up the rest of the play calling. And I think that'd be a good thing moving forward. And I think last week was pretty evident of that. And I think we should probably, hopefully, repeat the same thing this coming week. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I do think before last week, I said it on your show last week. It seems like, actually, I quoted Q from Locked On Raiders podcast. He said it seems like that Josh McDaniels is throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. I think that's a really good way of saying what the Raiders were doing the first 3 games. But now, you know, last week, our 4th game, it looked like we figured out what stuck, you know? So now it's not throwing stuff at the wall again to see what sticks. You know, that should be done. We should have a much better idea of what works and grow from it. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Basically, we just need to continue doing what we did last week. Because if the thing with the Gruden era is that we would run the ball way too much, even if it wasn't working. Right now, we're running the ball really well, so we need to stick with that. We need to continue doing that throughout the game. But before we end the episode, what is your score prediction for the game?
Putting me on blast. I didn't get to think about an official one. So I definitely think it's going to be a shootout, high scoring game. I don't know what the over under is. I would probably say 31-28 Raiders.
31-28 Raiders. All right, I like it. So unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Chiefs winning.
No way.
I know, but wait till you hear the score. The score will end up being 28-24 with the Chiefs winning. We're going to cover the spread. We're going to get, you know, under that 7.5, you know, spread. But I legit, just because we won this week, I can't forget the first 3 weeks of absolute disappointment. Because, you know, there's more losses than wins right now. But I think that if we do exactly what we did last week and improve upon the red zone offense and defense, even just a little bit, we can beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to pick us. For me, it's hard to pick us just because of how well they've been playing, like the Chiefs.
Yeah, look, I understand, you know, trying to be realistic with yourself, because, you know, it's a very subjective thing when I give out my personal predictions. And I'm not going to push my bias away. Yeah. But with that said, I would say 31-28 Raiders. But if we don't win, I actually don't think. I think if the Chiefs were to win, I think we wouldn't cover the spread. I think it would be probably like a 10+ game. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 10 plus lead that the Chiefs would have.
So like a 41-14 41-24 type of win for the Chiefs.
Something like that, give or take, a couple points. But something like that. I think those are, in my opinion, the two most realistic scenarios. We're certainly not going to blow out the Chiefs.
No. If we blow out the Chiefs, I will crown a Super Bowl champions, right? Like next Tuesday, I'll be like, we are winning the Super Bowl if we blow them out 41-20 or whatever.
It'd be great, but being realistic, I don't see that happening at all. So I do think it would be a shootout, and we get one extra score on them, or it's just not going to be the best showing for the Raiders. But only time will tell.
Yep. All right, so we're going to end the episode now. So if you stuck around, thank you so much for watching. Let us know down in the comments what you think the score will be, how you think it will go. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to go to NJ Raider Nation's YouTube channel and also subscribe there. Watch his videos. He makes good content. Don't forget to check out his Twitter. He puts out some funny stuff. He made if the Raiders were in the week 18 right before the final kick, and it was like Aaron Judge's sexy first home run, but he got walked or whatever.
That was a fun trend to jump on.
Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, check him out. Don't forget to subscribe here as well. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I'm making stuff all the time. So, give me a follow and stuff like that. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good day, a great week. We got Chiefs this week. Also, shout out to Raider by Nature for this awesome sweater. Definitely go check out his shop. I'll put him in the description as well. And as always, have a great day and peace out, Raider Nation.